If it's too late to worry and you're too blue to cry, then get ready for Dr. Lori Roth. She's a Ph.D., black belt, host, singer, songwriter, mom, gun owner, survivor, and red-blooded American through and through. From 3,000 feet up in the mountains of Washington, it's the Annie Oakley of the airwaves. Ready or not, here she comes, Dr. Lori Roth.
Welcome to this hour of the show, folks. This is our Unsolved Crime segment. Each and every week at this time, we have Susan Murphy Milano. She is a crime blogger. She does her own show. She's got all kinds of things that she's working on, as if she doesn't contribute enough. She's a best-selling author. She's a survivor. And you can find out all about her at SusanMurphyMilano.com. And the news and her articles are there, and they're worth reading. She has some guests that she has brought with us today. Hi, Susan. Introduce us to your guests.
How are you? I think we need to do a shout-out when we start here, because Monica and the Q Center for Missing Persons today, Devin Ivey went missing on June 9th, and because of the search dog, Oscar, and if we could all give him a big bone instead, I think people should go to www.ncmissingpersons.org, make a donation to the organization. That dog got the scent and was able to direct searchers today to her remains. 22 years old, beautiful girl, and this is, again, you know, what the importance of Monica and all those volunteers, and they are volunteers, does. And Monica, maybe you could go into it a little bit more.
Welcome, Monica. Yeah, what was that case about?
Well, we basically it was a young girl that had an altercation with a boyfriend or what have you, and basically last seen, and there was a lot of speculation, a lot of stories, but she was last seen with her boyfriend 6 days ago, and a lot of things weren't adding up. They arrested the boyfriend last night. Some other activities went on within the case during the night last night, and then a lot of our searchers that went out there yesterday working with law enforcement and searching, and they returned this morning and basically located her body. It was, you know, a good search effort. Law enforcement jumped down on the ground running with it, and I know all the law enforcement agencies that were involved. They're awesome. They always are very aggressive when it comes to missing people. And Bernie, his dog Oscar, and also Connie was with him from the Q Center, and so they had the recovery. It was, I believe, it was like right around lunchish.
Yeah.
So. Wow. Well, you know, those things are so tragic. I mean, there's nothing happy, but at least it gives them closure. And is this boyfriend guy the main suspect? Has he admitted anything, or is he being quiet?
He hasn't admitted anything, but, you know, I have all the faith in the world in the Florence Sheriff's Department and the other agencies that are working on it. They are awesome people. Like I said, they've always been aggressive. In any missing person case that I have ever worked with them, and, you know, and they do have great results. So they jumped down on the ground running. They knew something was wrong right away, and they started eliminating space, and thank God she was found quickly. Yeah.
Oh, at least they have him in custody. Hopefully, if he's the one that did it, they can find evidence through her body or on him or something.
You know what's sick too, and her name is tattooed on the side of his neck. So when he does a side view, you see her name on there. Yeah. And it's just somebody obviously that was obsessed. And people have to be very careful in marriage and in dating relationships. These people get jealous. This was a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. 22 years old, robbed of her life, and thank God that the Q Center gets down on the ground, works with law enforcement, does what they do, and all those law enforcement and the searchers and the rescuers, you know, the dogs who can't kind of talk to us.
Well, hold on, Monica. We'll be right back with Monica Kassan of the Q Center and Susan Murphy Milano. I'm Lori Roth.
No, this is not American Idol, so keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Lori Roth will be back in just mere moments.
You heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Tax Masters will help solve your tax problems. Do you owe back taxes? Being audited? Have several years of unfiled returns? Wages being garnished? Is the IRS calling or sending threatening letters? Whatever your tax-related problem, the former IRS agents and tax professionals at Tax Masters can help. Call 1-877-869-4829 or simply 1-877-869-4TAX or go to txmstr.com. Again, txmstr.com. Don't take on the IRS by yourself. The folks at Tax Masters have helped many good people just like you. Some might want you to believe there's a new, friendlier IRS, but don't be fooled. This is not the case. Call Tax Masters 1-877-869-4829 or go to txmstr.com. Tax Masters will solve your tax problems.
Have you ever consumed protein powder supplements? I have, and all of them don't taste that good. Have artificial flavors, sweeteners, or unhealthy sugars. About a year ago, I was introduced to a new protein powder that changed my experience. This protein powder made me feel noticeably better, and it tasted more delicious than any drink I've ever had. Here's the experience of one satisfied user named Rich.
The term best of all worlds has been belabored to death, and yet I've just discovered a whey protein powder that truly deserves to be called best of all worlds. Best taste, by far. Best results, by far. You almost feel like you're cheating, that something that tastes that good could be so good for you. Thank you, Stephen and Cocoon Nutrition. One World Whey truly is the best of all worlds. The only way for me. Yours truly, Rich from Georgia. Real user, real happy.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld,
Her name is Dr. Lori Roth, and here she is again, right now.
I'm talking with Monica Quezon. She's the head of the Q Center for Missing Persons and on her way to another case right now. And Susan Murphy Milano, who has been dealing with all kinds of cases for some time, starting with her own when her dad murdered her mom and then killed himself and most likely was going to kill her. And she understands the hell of an attack and working her way back. And she is kind of feisty with her bad self to try to stop other people from having to be stuck in the earth and survive. She helps them survive. So where do we want to,
I think Hope Meek, also because, what people don't realize is all these cases of missing persons, of unsolved, and of those alive, and intimate partner violence cases and missing persons, the crime scene that they leave and where they end up, it's a crime scene. And what the searchers did today for Deb and Ivy, they were very fortunate to be able to recover her the way that they did. But it's because people around the law enforcement and this organization knows what to do, knows how to search a grid, knows how to break down an area. Because, as you've heard Monica say before, the importance of any of these searches is that she eliminates space when she goes out and does these searches. And people think that if you think that they just go out and just let dogs and, they just run amok and do whatever they need to do happens, it is not. Every single step that is taken is planned. And I think that that's so important with the recovery. And she right now is on the road. Well, you should talk about it, Monica, for Hope Daniel Meek, who has, she's been missing since February 21st of 2002.
Yeah, she's been missing a long time, and there's finally been some things that have, come around with her case that we are now en route, and we've got a large crew going in. A lot of our western units have been activated, and we'll be bringing quite a bit of teams in there for this week to search for her. So we're very excited about, getting back out on a case that kind of fell down for a little while, but it's now back up and moving hard.
But the hope of the family, I think, for you. And the family, that's what's kept it alive. That's what's kept it continuing.
Yeah, her family has been very dedicated to keep her out there and the information out there and keep pressure on the community that she became missing from. But the police also have worked very diligently on this case. And she's got a great detective. He thinks outside the box. I like that about him. And he's very, aggressive in trying to get things done. So I think we've got a good crew out there that's going to hunker down on this area this week. And, I really hope that we can, if we don't find her, that we can at least find evidence for them to proceed forward. Because that's all they're trying to do is find something. But, this is definitely a big step in her case in such a long time. And we're excited about the information.
Yeah, we have a guest, the father of Jessica Lowery. Jim has joined us, and Monica, I'll allow you to introduce him if you would, please.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Miss Monica.
This is Jessica Lowery's father, and I'm going to let him tell. His last name is Rebel. I'm going to let him tell about his daughter and tell her a little bit about Jessica, but also about when she became missing and how she became missing. And, it's a very important case. We just got it a couple months ago, and we were already aggressively working on it, and we hope to be conducting some searches for her very, very soon.
Welcome aboard, Jim. Take your time and just tell us about your daughter and what happened.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Her name was Jessica Michelle Lowery. She's been missing for over 5 years, almost 6 years, and she left walking one night to go to her friend's house from her mother's house, and first I was told that she did end up at her friend's house, but but we haven't heard anything else of what happened after she was at her friend's house. Nobody knows or haven't heard anything about, what's happened, first, the friends and everything. But, I still don't know pretty much what's happened to her.
So the last you heard was she had finally walked to the friend's house, and then the friends didn't act like. What are they saying happened to her?
Okay, from what I gather, I just finally talked to the friend. I've been trying to get up with her for years, but I finally got up with her at least almost a month ago, and she told me she didn't end up at her house that night. But I was told from her mother that she did end up there that night. And it's like everything just went cold. I have it seems like I can't give just a straight story of did she end up there or did she not end up there.
Yeah. So nobody knows right now if she ended up at the friend's house, except she never was seen again.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's right. She haven't been seen that night. And when I talked to the girl a couple of weeks ago, she told me she didn't see her. It was, I want to say, she seen her two days before she had went missing. I think that's what she told me.
So what was she supposedly? Did she walk to the friend's house?
Yes, ma'am. It's probably, I'm going to say, over 2 miles from where the girl stayed. Where she was supposed to end up that night at the friend's house.
Oh, and so it sounds like she never showed up at the friend's house unless the friends are lying and she was there and something happened there. And
exactly.
And it went from there. Monica and Susan, what do you know about this case?
Well, what I know about this case is it's kind of went cold the day it was reported. There really hasn't been any great effort to locate solid information, any great effort to locate her, and piece this puzzle, together. And so, now that we're involved, because he's kind of in an area that doesn't have access to a lot of things and didn't know, and he had gotten our organization name from someone, and long story short, we're actually trying to get the case up to date. She's not been entered into CODIS. There's a lot that's not been done, so actually that's what we're working on now is getting everybody, activated to say, this girl is missing. Why did it go unnoticed? Why did it fall down? Let's get it back up. Let's get information correct. Let's get a billboard. Let's get, start targeting the community for information and get this, a place to start looking for her, because it's kind of like, well, they reported her missing and that was kind of it. Nothing, ever got done. And bless Jimmy's heart, I mean, he goes down there all the time and talks to the police and they just keep, nothing new, and the law-abiding citizen that he is, he goes home with that. And so, but that's just not good enough. I mean, you're talking a significant amount of time has passed, and nothing has been done to try to locate this child.
Well,
and can I ask, Jim, is your daughter's, you have a grandchild, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so is the father in the grandchild's life?
Actually, his father passed away in '99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So who was this girl that wouldn't talk to you? You kept trying to catch up with. Was she in relationship to your daughter? Were they close? Were they?
They were close friends, best friends, as far as I hear.
Do you know if your daughter was seeing anybody at the time?
I was told she was. Yeah.
Okay, and did somebody tell you maybe who this person was, or maybe that girlfriend was somebody that I'm not saying, but sometimes there's a jealousy thing going on. Did you get a sense of that, maybe?
Right. Well, when I talked to the girl here a couple of weeks ago, I brought up some names to her, and she right out told me there was two of them that I called out wasn't involved in nothing. And it was like, from what I'm hearing from her, she really knows something. And the thing about it, back when the detectives and stuff was questioning her, she was in some trouble herself, and she told me point blank that she was in so much trouble she didn't want to talk about nothing. So she's willing to talk now. She said she had herself clean for over 3 years now. She's got a little boy herself, and she's willing to talk now.
So she's willing to tell you about your daughter. Are you raising the child now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And
he's 12. He's 12-year-old. He's been with me for, I'm going to say, probably 4 years.
And now this girl's come clean, and she's cleaned herself up, she's got a child, all of a sudden she wants to talk, but is she really telling you anything, or is she just maybe trying to misdirect you a little bit? What does it feel like to you as a dad? Because I think that, once you're in front of somebody, you get that sense.
Right. Well, to be honest with you, from what I gather, I've only spoke to her twice. I seen her in person twice, but the first time that I spoke to her, it's been 2 weeks ago, I'm going to say somewhere in there, but I could tell there's something wrong. And the reason I'm saying, when you live a life out there of different stuff that I'm not familiar with, it's like she got to telling me some things about her own self, how she was years ago. She wouldn't say my daughter was like that, but I'm like this. If you hang around people like that, you pretty much got to be the same way. But she got to telling me some things about her, and it's like she knows something. She really, truly knows.
And your daughter is very pretty, Jim. I mean, what a beautiful smile, and so bright, and maybe there was a jealousy there. Maybe they were competing. Maybe your daughter was seeing somebody that the other girl wanted to see. Maybe they got into an altercation. I think that
could be.
And your daughter, she was a good mother, wasn't she?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
and that's what you want people to know too. Did she work?
Yes, ma'am. She worked with some company that deals with the constructions, and she holds the signs, stopping traffic and let the traffic pass through. Yes, ma'am.
That's a sunburn job. So did you find out maybe if she, got close to anybody? Was she there long enough to make friends that would have known about her? Were you able to talk with any of them at any time after she went missing?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But the girl that I'm talking about, she brought up a name that I have turned over to the sheriff's department to investigate, and his name's coming up. His name's coming up quite a bit.
Okay. And was it somebody that she was seeing, or that they had some relationship with?
Yes, ma'am. For as I know, that's exactly what I hear. That's exactly what the girl told me. She was seeing her. Jessica was seeing him first, and then she said that Jessica introduced her to him. So, and it's like, something's not ringing.
Well, I guess I have a question, Jim.
Yes.
Your daughter Jessica was walking to this friend's house. Okay, we don't know if she ever arrived at the friend's house. Well, did the cops interview the friends at the other end of the house? I mean, did they go through the house? Did they talk to him? I mean, did they investigate it all, or have they even told you that?
No, ma'am. They haven't told me anything about that. I mean, I understand how, a first business, handling your business, first cops and stuff like that. You just can't, a lot of stuff you just can't put out in the public, if you're doing an investigation. But, it's like, I don't know if she really did or didn't end up at the friend's house.
Well, you would think in 4 or 5 years, by now you would know, and
yes,
they wouldn't have to hold those cards close to their chest after all this time.
Exactly. And it's like, when I spoke to her mother said she ended up there that night. But when I talked to the girl 2 weeks ago, she said she never seen her that night. And it's like, so I don't know which one to believe.
Something's wrong.
And I haven't heard that from the law enforcement.
Something's wrong. Hold on, Jim. We'll be right back with Monica Kassan and the father of Jessica Lowery, Jim. And Susan Murphy Milano. I'm Lori Roth. And my dogs are Muffin and Scooter, so don't mess with me.
No, this is not American Idol. So keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Lori Roth will be back in just mere moments.
Are you looking to buy gold and silver, but don't know who to trust? I'm Dr. Lori Roth, and let me tell you about GainesvilleCoins.com. Gainesville Coins has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and not only that, but they are a 3-time recipient of the 5-star award for Best Bullion Dealer from the National Inflation Association. GainesvilleCoins.com has one of the largest selections of bullion for all your needs, and can be purchased directly from their website. If you are ready to save money now for your future, visit GCIGold.com, where customer service is as important as the customer. That's GCIGold.com. Or you can reach a trader directly at 813-482-9300. That's 813-482-9300. Gainesville Coins is your triple threat against poverty, with excellent service, the best prices, and top-flight reputation. So get prepared and plan ahead at GainesvilleCoins.com or call 813-482-9300. 4physics.com. It is the ultimate exploring and shopping experience. Finally, a site where beauty and mystery meet perfectly. No more wondering about what to get for that person who has absolutely everything. At 4physics.com, you will find everything from light crystals, self-powered all-purpose radios, Aquatine sundials, plasma balls, to lab equipment, educational resources, and much more. Prepare to spend a very, very long time at 4physics.com. At this amazing site, the mystery of science translates beautifully into all kinds of resources, gifts, and unique treasures that will really give you a whole lot of something to talk about. Get nerdy with it and show all your friends, family, and coworkers that science really is more fun. Display that light crystal or plasma ball while serenading your visitors on your self-powered radio. That's 4physics.com. Be there or be nowhere.
She's not gay, illegal, or handicapped, nor is she from Palestine. But she is special. She owns a gun, flies the U.S. flag, is on a first-name basis with Almighty God. And you don't have to ask the FBI to know where she stands. Her name is Dr. Lori Roth, and here she is again, right now.
Happens, they know, but they just don't feel protected enough.
Jessica, was she employed? Was she introverted? Was she extroverted? Was she liberal, conservative? What kind of person was she? Was she totally invested in that community, or was she there for part-time and looking for work, or what was the deal with her?
She was pretty much looking for work. the last account, in which I thought she was still working with the construction company, but to come to find out, she hadn't worked with them in months before she went missing.
Okay.
Yeah, she was pretty much looking for work.
Was she living with someone, or the mother, or by herself?
No, ma'am. The mother. She was living with her mom.
Okay. She was living with her mom. Okay, and she was walking to a friend's house that night on a rural road, a couple of miles, and there, so far in the last 5 years, no witnesses have come forward and say that they saw her at any point in the walk, or what?
No, ma'am. I haven't heard anything from anybody of far as I know, her aunt was the last one to see her that night when she left to go to and she asked her where she was going. She was going to her friend's house. And as far as I know, she's the last one spoke to her.
Do you know? I mean, was she a kid that was flirting with trouble? Was she on drugs? Did she hang around with that crowd, or was she more shy or more straight arrow? What kind of a person was she?
I hate to say it, but she was a typical a teenager around the wrong crowd.
Okay, so she didn't hang around the perfect, safe, wonderful people all the time.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
no,
so
ma'am.
that's a question mark right there. Is who did she hang around with? Who maybe she ticked off, or like Susan was saying, did someone get jealous of her? Was she liking the wrong guy, breaking up with the wrong guy? We don't know that, do we? Or does the mother know? Is she talking about this, trying to work with the authorities?
Far as I know, she's not. No, she's not.
There's a long history there with the mother and things that probably aren't appropriate to get in right now. But, she definitely loved her family. She was, close to her father, but her father is old school. Jimmy had rules and regulations that the children had to go by, and that's pretty much why she was temporarily living with her mother. And she had not the supervision that she would have had if she had been with Jimmy, her father, and but she was definitely, reaching out for help and definitely keeping in touch. And probably not hanging around some of the best people. However, she was still making some good, choices in life. And and in that area, I can vouch for, too, it is very, very hard to get a job. I mean, it's just, like I said, there might be a country store. Other than that, you better own a vehicle, and you're going to have to drive to some, other area to get in. And normally you get in by your family's work history or knowing a person or a school teacher or someone like that gets you in those kind of plants. There's a lot of plant work and things of that sort. So it's not like a dime a dozen where there's a Walmart right down the street or anything. It's not like that at all. It might be a mom and pop's shop, and it's family, operated and owned, so there's no place for employment for kids around there.
Does anybody, Monica and Susan, does anybody know, and Jim, does anybody know the mindset of Jessica that night when she took that walk to a friend's house? Was she depressed? Had she been depressed? Was there something going on? Was there a crisis, or was she perfectly happy and it seemed like just a nice old time? She was going to go to a friend's house.
She was just going to a friend's house. There wasn't anything, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of, like this boy that she was dating, trying to get, like I said, this is all information that, all needs to be gone back over. People need to be interviewed. She was reported missing. There were a few interviews, and it kind of just went from, there was never no big search. There was never no public outcry. There was never no big media story. There was, this girl pretty much went missing and not noticed. That's how I feel about the case, in my opinion, is that she kind of just fell off the face of the earth. Her family knows it. They screamed for help, and that's it, and that's kind of where it stopped.
Yeah.
And because they don't have the tools or resources, they kind of just thought, okay, the authorities have this, and we'll hope they know what they're doing. And here we are, over 5 years.
But this is a lot of families, Monica, that the Q Center assists. Is people don't realize that they don't have the resources. That's why you're there. They don't have computer. They don't have technology, and it's very difficult for them.
Right. I mean, had he not talked to somebody who knew somebody, connected to our organization, he would, he would have never found us because, we're not, I mean, that's just the way it is. And we've already gotten Jessica on the segment for Channel 14, and that aired. It was a really good piece. It brought forth some information, and that's where we're working at now. Now we've got, her tonight on the radio show, and we're looking at billboards. We're also trying to get her case up to date. There's nothing that really should have been done that has been done. So that's where we have to start. Some of these cases, you have to get them up to date before you can even begin working them.
You bet.
That's where we're at.
Hold on. We'll be right back with Monica, Jim, and Susan. I'm Lori Roth. Don't you go.
No, this is not American Idol, so keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Lori Roth will be back in just mere moments.
Veterans have served our country in both war and peace.
It's because of people like you that we are free.
My class was learning about war and how hard it is.
I wanted to do something to let them know how I feel.
Now there is a way to thank them for helping keep America free. Log on to thankyouveterans.org and type a personal message of thanks.
Dear Dad, I've recently come to understand how important your service to America was, and I just wanted to say thank you.
There are 26 million veterans living in America today, from World War II to Afghanistan and Iraq.
We carry our experiences inside. It's nice to have someone say thanks.
Let a veteran know you appreciate their service. Log on to thankyouveterans.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Her name is Dr. Lori Roth, and here she is again, right now.
Monica, you were making a point that I think you should make to the audience right now. Go ahead.
Well, basically, people that suffer a missing person and there's children left behind, and I've heard this many, many times that, the children always, the one thing they wanted to know is that parent became missing and was kept from coming home. They go through life wondering, if the parent abandoned them or walked out on them, and I think it's important. We were talking about, Jimmy telling his grandson, and keeping Jessica alive in his household, and there's not a day that goes by that she speaks about or that he speaks about her and that he asks about his mother. And I think that's important because children can handle the truth a lot better than they can handle. It's the lies, down the road that they find out, and the things hidden that really kind of mess kids up. And I think he's at a very crucial age that, he needs to know the truth and know that his mother loved him and she's being kept from coming home, and it's not her choice.
Yeah, very good point.
It is only because Monica is going on another case where there's children involved, and in my opinion, the truth has not been told to them, and they don't know in the Meek case.
No. When we come back, I want to get the websites for both of you ladies and how people can get a hold of you and utilize your services and your heart. We'll be right back.
No, this is not American Idol, so keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Lori Roth will be back in just mere moments. She's not gay, illegal, or handicapped, nor is she from Palestine, but she is special. She owns a gun, flies the U.S. flag, is on a first-name basis with Almighty God, and you don't have to ask the FBI to know where she stands. Her name is Dr. Lori Roth, and here she is again, right now.
We're talking with Monica Kassan of the Q Center for Missing Persons. And quickly, Monica, what is that exact website if a person has someone missing or needs some help from you? Where do they go?
Well, they can go to, qcenter.org, or they can go to www.ncmissingpersons.org. They can also Google Jessica Lowery's name. They can go to her website, and that is jessicalowery.com. So they can pretty much visit our website. There's links to her, and there's links to her on her website back to us, so no problem in trying to find us.
Right on. And then, Susan, can you give out your website and some of the books people can get their hands on? Because there's a lot of life-saving resources on your site as well.
It's SusanMurphyMilano.com, and the Time's Up book with the evidentiary abuse affidavit, and many of these cases that we see, these missing women, if they don't do it and the person goes missing, then it's hearsay. Mm-hmm. It's just a statement that you made to somebody, and it won't hold up to hopefully secure information that possibly leads to the person who's responsible for the person's disappearance. So it's really important. You betcha. Jim, yes. Your courage amazes me, and your heart astounds me, and you're, of course, the dad of the missing, beautiful Jessica Lowery. 5 years she's been missing, and she was a 25-year-old girl just waiting to let her life unfold. She had a son, and you're raising her son, Justin. In the final few minutes of the time together, would you please, from your heart, from a granddad's heart, give a message to Justin, your grandson?
Yes, ma'am. The one thing that I want Justin to really understand and really know, and I know he knows, that I really love him. And I'm doing everything in my power to try to reach out for help, to help him find his mother, my daughter. Because as much love he got for his own mother, that's how much love I have for my daughter. And all the times, Christmas time, I remember the times he always asked me. He said, Granddaddy, he said, you know what, all those gifts upon those trees, Christmas tree, he said, but I would rather have my mother back than all those gifts. And how he goes to school and he tells the kids, his mother's missing, his dad's not here, that they better love and respect their parents because he don't have them.
Wow. Well, Jim, it's amazing what healing can happen in the middle of absolute loss and despair and things that don't make sense in the middle of madness. And Justin, you hang in there and keep fighting and loving and looking for the bright light, and you will make it, my friend. And I know Monica and Susan and your granddad ain't giving up. Ain't giving up. Give it to God. Keep bold. Keep praying. And keep looking. Jim, thank you so much for your courage and for your spirit. And come back anytime. And Monica, thank you so much for coming on board. And Susan, you guys rock.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 15. Check out therothshow.com and pray for our troops in harm's way. And we'll be back at you next week at this time and explore some other cases and information.
You know by now that God, country, and our moral heritage are not for sale, and our great country needs your fervent prayers. Talk to your friends. Talk to your enemies. Spread the word about The Roth Show. Check out Lori's articles, archives, and great sponsors. Go to therothshow.com. Remember to pray for our country, and remember to be back next time, right here for The Roth Show with Dr. Lori Roth.
Now batting for the Wounded Warrior Project, Johnny Damon.
Last year, I joined the Wounded Warrior Project as their national spokesman. During that time, I have met some of the most amazing men and women who were injured in the War on Terror in Iraq and Afghanistan. I have visited the hospitals and have witnessed the enduring spirits of those recovering. These brave warriors have suffered catastrophic injuries. Many are missing limbs or have been badly burned. Some will suffer through the effects of traumatic brain injuries for the rest of their lives. Regardless of your position on the war, one thing is for certain. These heroes and their loved ones deserve our help.
No wounded veteran should bear the weight of his or her sacrifice alone. Through the Wounded Warrior Project, we can enrich these war veterans' lives with adaptive programs that will get them back into life's mainstream.
Log on to woundedwarriorproject.org to find out more about this fine organization that is helping these returning injured veterans and their families with their new lives. The greatest casualty is being forgotten. Let's make sure this doesn't happen to my brave friends.